Alright, hi everyone. I'm back, and so we're gonna do some refinement to this design here. Get onto that. So the first thing is, here's my my design the way that it is. I'm going to make some changes to it. So we're going to move over to some sketching here, and this is the original idea. I'm going to change it to this idea here. So there's going to be the spacer in between the triangular piece and the rectangular piece, or sorry, the square piece. I'm going to create this spacer thing here, and then I'm not going to have this be at 45 degrees. I think that's a bit sort of a bit too messy, and it's going to be hard to make the pieces intersect with each other. So instead of that, we're just going to create the spacer and have everything line up properly. So I'm going to go back to here, and so the first thing to do is to change this back, right? So to not be at 45 degrees. So I'm going to use my rotate tool. After having selected these pieces, I'm going to go to the origin because that makes things a little bit easier. So look at it from underneath. Please excuse the lag. This is part of what happens when you use the online version. I really recommend, if you are going to be doing a whole lot of SketchUp stuff, that you download that. Right, so 45 degrees. Enter it, so that's better. Good, and now we're going to lift it up a bit. So here's the rotate. Use the move tool, and we're just going to move it up, making sure that we're on the blue axis. So I'll move it up here somewhere. I did this before already, but I'll just show you. I'm going to create a little rectangle here, a square that's 20 by 20. 20, 20. I'm just typing that in. There we go. And then we'll just extrude it 20 mils like that, and then we'll see if that looks right. So we'll just select the whole thing. We'll make it into a component. Good. And now let's move it into position. So again, to move this into position, it's nice to use the origin. So go snap to that midpoint and that midpoint there. Hopefully we should be able to organize that. Let's see. There we go. So move that to the origin. And now we're going to move this up. So again, I'm hitting the up arrow key once to sort of make sure that I'm going in the up direction. So something like this, and then this part will move down. Again, hitting the up arrow key to make sure that it's going down only. So I think something like that looks pretty good, right? So we're going to work with that. So I'm going to take this, delete it, and then we're going to make this from scratch again, but out of 4 separate pieces. So let's start here with a rectangle or a square. Again, it's 20 by 20, like that. Then we'll extrude it using the push-pull tool. 20 mils. Oh, that's not right. No, we're going to go 3 mils, like this. We'll make that into a component. I haven't named it this time, but that's okay. Now we're going to move it. So we're going to move it from this corner here, and we want this corner to be over here somewhere. We're going to make a copy of it by hitting the Control key, and we're going to move a distance of 17 mils. So 17 being 20, because that's the size of the cube, minus 3 for the thickness of the material. So like that. And then we're going to take both of those, and we're going to rotate them. So we should ideally we'd find the center of this and stuff like that, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm just going to rotate it over here, starting, and where are we? Starting on the green axis and ending on the red axis, and hitting the control key once to make a copy, like that. Right, so now we've got these two pieces, so now we're going to move this so that it's in position. By the way, you can use shortcut keys for this. There are shortcut keys in this in SketchUp. I'm just not very. I just like using my mouse. So there we go. So that's basically what this is going to look like. Right, now we need a way of them interacting together, and I'll show you how to do that now. So we're going to take these two pieces. Actually, no, we're just going to make another copy of this. So I'm going to make another copy of this right here. It doesn't really matter where it is. And I'm going to now change this piece. Right, I'm going to go into this component. So, by the way, you may have noticed that when you select these things, unlike normal SketchUp, when you select a component, it selects the whole thing, but you can still edit it. So we're going to edit it into this component by double clicking on it. So now we're inside of that component, and now I can select individual pieces. And I can also create a rectangle, for example. I'm going to start from this corner here. I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I want it to be 3 millimeters by 10. Oh, it so happens that that's exactly right, but I'm just going to type it in anyway. 10, 3, press enter, and that bit there, right? Now I'm going to get rid of that piece, so I'm going to do that by pushing it in here like this. Oh no, that's the wrong part, so make sure they've got this piece selected. I'm going to push this in to be in line with that face, and you can see that that disappears now. Right now, not only does it disappear there, but it disappears on all the other parts as well. Right, and we're going to use that later on. So notice that when you change one instance of a component, it changes all of the instances, which is great. You can make them unique. We'll do that later on, and that way they don't follow along. But for now, we want that to happen. So there we go. So this is the size of the box here. So we want 10, 3. So I'm just typing that in. There we go, and I'm going to do that again. Push that piece in until it disappears like that. Right, and so that's what it looks like there. So now I'm going to go out of my component. So I want these components like this, but these ones I want to flip over. Right, so I'm going to take these two components here, and I'm going to rotate them around like that. So now what I want to do is rotate them around there. Let's see. Oh yes, this is good. There. So start from, let's say, this direction, and we're going to flip it over. By 180 degrees. Oh, I'll just type in 180. There we go. And now we've got interlocking pieces. That's pretty nice. Right, now we also need to create some little holes on the top and bottom so that they can seat inside of here. So let's do that next. So I'm going to make another rectangle. I'm going to start from the, oh no, wait, make sure that you're inside of the component, otherwise it won't work. Go inside of the component, create a rectangle. Now I want to make sure that it's in the middle here, so I'm going to make half the rectangle first. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to draw my rectangle. So now it's going to be something like this. And so at the moment it's 2 by 4. What I want is 1.5. Sorry, that's 1,5. That won't be good. 1.5 millimeters, because it's half the thickness. By that's 4. Let's make it 5 to make everything nice and neat. So like that. And now I'm going to make a copy of this. So now you can copy whole surfaces by using this move technique. So I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to click on this corner, I'm going to move it over, hit Control to make a copy of it, and just join them together like that. Alright, so delete this line in the middle now. Now I've got the exact right size, and we know that that's going to be in the middle. So now I'm going to use the push-pull tool. I'm going to push this in here like that. Right now, notice that it does the same thing to each of them, but on these ones it's on the top, and these ones it's on the bottom. We want them on the top and the bottom, so that's okay. Oh, I should have kept that rectangle, shouldn't I? Never mind. I'll just do that again. So it's still inside of that component. Go to the middle, come down and to the side, and we want 1.5, comma 5. There we go. That's the size of it. We'll just move that over. Move that surface over. Make a copy of it. And Control key. So I'm going to go in the green direction, and I'm going to move over by 1.5. There we go. Delete that line in the middle. Don't need that anymore. And then we're just going to use the push-pull tool. And we're going to push this in to there. And so there we go. So there's our little unit thing. So I'm going to go out of here, and now we're going to move this into position. Let's see how we're going to do that. So first of all, I think what I'll do is I'll make a little base for this. We're going to delete it later, but we'll just create this base. Oh, that's not right. Let's do that again. From this corner to this corner, that's not right either. That was interesting. So start to make a rectangle. Start from this corner here. Go to that corner here. And now we're going to move this whole assembly. So selected all this. Look at the bottom of it. Choose our move tool. I'm going to move it from this midpoint and that midpoint where those two intersect. Let's see, is this right? Let's say that that's right. We're going to move that to the origin first, and then we're going to move it up. So we're going to start by moving it way too high. So again, hit the up arrow key to move up. So that's too high. Now I'm going to move it down so that this point here, so make sure that we're going only up, and I'm going to line it up with this corner here. There. That looks pretty good. Nice. Okay, so we're happy with that. We can now actually just delete this surface here. We don't need that anymore. We've used that to align things. Now we're going to move this assembly up as well, so that it's in the right position. So there we go, there. Actually it's going to sit further down, isn't it? I need to make the holes in here. That's okay, we'll do that later on. So we'll move the whole thing down. For now it's just going to sit in there. In fact, that might be where it ends up. We'll see. Line it up with that. There. So let's see, how does it look now? That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we can compare it with our sketch. Looks pretty similar to the sketch. Right, so that's long enough, I think. So we'll stop recording now. So if you want to keep going, look for the next video coming up soon. Alright, thanks guys, bye.